double check. Ugh, to manage my two monitors. There we go. Minimize the music. Minimize that. We've got our game. Let me advertise a bit on that I'm doing this. Close my Twitch. It seems to be running. Perfect. There we go. Okay, cool. So I think I can get started. We're gonna grab our, we're gonna actually, are we gonna do it on a giant? Let's do giant. Let's do giant. And which seasonal theme are we gonna start with? I think we wanted to add some more, but for now we can just do it at random. That's fine. There we go. Cool, cool. We've generated that. Double check to make sure everything's running on OBS. Test. Yep, perfect. Cool. Okay, so looking at my notes, I do have here written vary the hills a bit more. Let's see if we can do that, and then we can add our Asian, Mediterranean, and maybe savanna biomes. Let's take a look at the hills first. So, hill terrain, elevation. Ooh, well, actually, scale by size, 18 to 22. Alright, we could just do, you know, just a bit of this type of thing, I'd say. And not too extreme, but enough so that there can be more variability than there currently is, I'd say. Yeah. And we can even see if we did the same seed, what effect that would have. It's kind of slow. That's the only problem with doing giant maps. In general, everything's working though, so let's hop right into it and make our next theme. Asian. Now for the base Asian, I should probably just use temperate. So we'll do that. Like that. There we go. Cool, cool. And we'll need to define, and we're going to define ASEAN map. That's how you spell Asian. Hopefully. That's how I spell that up there too. Good. So then we're going to copy temperate. All of this. Put it here. And then we have to see what are we going to do differently in our Asian map. That's the question. I think for that one, I'm going to do what I did last time, which is pull up the terrain spreadsheet. See that. Let's go. Loop. There you go. Okay. Oh, where's my mouse? There we go. Cool. So the grass, the gravel, stuff like that, wet beat can all stay. we need to definitely work in the bamboo forest. And bamboo, we're going to keep the pine forest as a neutral land forest. But I think the oak bush forest, this is what gets replaced by bamboo. This is what gets replaced by bamboo. Bamboo forest. And what else could we do? We have Mediterranean tree forest in the sort of dry areas. That can't fit. Maybe we try something like a palm forest or palm desert. Our neutral area. Let's try the palm, the new one way down here, the grass palm forest. Let's do that one. I think that could look nice. Palm, careful, palm, grass, forest, something like that. Cool. Okay, next. Swamp. Bush and dead tree. Now let's... This bamboo doesn't really grow in swamps, does it? I kind of still want to put some more bamboo somewhere though, because that's literally the main difference between Asian and European setup. I don't really see why any of this other stuff should be varied. Now let me... bamboo swamp. We'll just do a bit of Googling for a second. And apparently bamboo swamps are a thing. Oh good. Okay. In that case, we're gonna, instead of doing bush tree, we're gonna do bamboo tree. So for bamboo tree we need... Bamboo tree is 348. 348. Bamboo tree. And then mixed in with dead trees for a swamp. Something like that probably looks good. Let's give it a test. I mean, I could swap around the grass and so on. Maybe I should take a careful look to make sure we're actually using all the possible terrains once we're done, and maybe we can put in a bit of variation there. But what we should see now is bamboo, palms, what if I went for the palm desert instead? That's pretty green down there. Seems a bit too green. Palm Desert, I believe, from memory, is 14. So let's try that instead. Palm Desert. Yeah, we have a large flat area that serves no particular purpose. Interesting. Oh, Palm Desert probably isn't 14. That's the issue. Palm Desert is 13. There we go. Memory failed me. Ah, your lighthouse. Yeah, you were talking about that. I think there's definitely a lot of potential to make a lighthouse themed map. Maybe something like this. for the layout. I could just put the Mediterranean trees down there after all, instead of the palm trees. A Greek. Oh, that's why you wanted to learn about, or that's why you're looking at Greek sandstone columns and stuff. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I think this can work. Don't know about the palm trees, but I think this is alright. Or dragons are Asian. Well, they're also Western dragons, but some dragon trees maybe. Well, they will only implement it if someone suggests it to them. But they actually do make a posting on the forums. They will reply to a surprising number of those. Alright. 48 Dragon Forest. Dragon Forest. Yeah, they do. Maybe not immediately, but a lot of the posts there actually do get looked at by devs. This person is nearly trapped. Maybe I should do something about that occasionally to allow make sure there's a passage through the forest sometimes, or maybe not. This person's in the middle anyway. I kind of like dragon forests, although I should Google where dragon trees really grow. Dragon tree. A bill of materials mod system. Explain what you mean by that. Dragon trees Wikipedia. Canary Islands. Alright, let's take a look at the genus Dracena. That's better. Ancient Greek. Majority are native to Africa, Southern Asia, Northern Australia. Dracena distribution. I do. Dragon's blood. Oh. Dragon fruit. That's. This is really not. This is really more of a dry plant. Actually, that would be useful. And for the Steam Workshop, they don't quite have that system, but you can have like required mods that you specify. Which is essentially the same thing. You say, this is a dependency. Plus, you should download this in order to make sure that it works. Type of thing. Don't know about these dragon trees. Let's put them in. Let's leave them in. Then let's do another theme. This would be useful, what you're suggesting, but a problem is they probably don't have enough resources and manpower to implement it. Although maybe they keep at it. I put this one after autumn. Fine. Map. There we go. Savannah or Mediterranean? Let's do a Mediterranean map. What are we gonna call it? Map. And that we're gonna base off of tropical, I think. It's gonna be drier than tropical though. And not as jungly. Yeah. For managing like map packs with your stuff, or what exactly are you achieving? That is helpful. Mediterranean map. Ooh, let's generate one. Okay. We have far too many jungly trees. And too much green terrain. This is gonna need a lot of work. Alright, that was looking at dragon trees. Let's get our terrains again. So map base terrain. Low map base terrain. Okay, the player land terrain could be like grassy looking dirt or something like that. What have we got on offer? What do we use dirt terrains? Dirt. We're going to use some of this stuff for Savannah, aren't we? Honestly, I might need to make a gravel desert as well. Add that to the list. Alright. Yeah. That's useful to have. Manage your map pack. I don't have a system like that. I just edit a lot of them in situ. But I also don't have as many huge files. You still can't. You should be able to right now, though. At least I'm able to, but you maybe it's some sort of special issue. I think what I want to go for here is the driest grass that we can find. So, moorland, no. Jungle grass, jungle leaves. Preserved. What is this? Jungle. dry grass. Dry grass is 100, so we'll start there. Desert map. Medi. Dry grass should be down here. Dry grass. And then the map base terrain. We need more sorts of grass. Brownish grass is good. We can use that too. Let's use that somewhere. As the neutral land terrain, maybe. So we said grass 3, that's 9. Yeah. Then I'll put this in the player lands. There we go. Yeah, I mean, with the size though, file size, I have like several hundred MB mods. The graphics are much larger than maps. It's possible that something did get corrupted. There's a guy on the forums that you can ping for this type of stuff, like do not dodo, or something like that. Topic of today is adding some more themes to the map that I've been working on. So we did the Asian theme just now. I'm now doing Mediterranean. We'll do maybe Savannah and a gravel desert. Then we'll see how late it is. Maybe we'll add animals. Start on that, maybe not. Right now I need to pick terrains for Mediterranean style. We need more grass. Grass other, no. Grass 2 is pretty lush. Let's avoid that. Leaves, no. Snow we don't want. We want something that's green though. Moorland we don't want. Leaves jungle, underbrush, grass jungle. Turns out there aren't that many grass terrains. We need some more unique grass terrains, though. Alright, well, I guess we do grass 2 here. Of. Then the hill can be something else that can just straight up be dirt. I think. Just make it dirt 1, yeah. Shallows can be shallows. Beach can be what we use on just like a temperate map, whatever this is, wet beach, sandbank terrain. Yeah. Animals will come. Savannah is dirt on the minimap, isn't it? Trying to keep the minimap fully consistent. Yeah, we'll use that on the next theme that we do. Let's pick some forests. We want Mediterranean forests. So we're gonna want this thing. probably for the player land forests. That. Then we can have some actual oak forests and maybe palm desert. Palm desert we can keep. Let's put in the oak forest. Oak forest is 10. Is it 10? It is 10. Yeah. Something like that. Oak forest. For animals, I'll be able to copy some of my old code, I'm pretty sure. We do not want mangrove swamps. We're going to take the bush swamp, I believe. Let's take this. Take this stuff here. Map base layer. Now we need some dirt terrains there. So this can be something like dirt 2 probably. Dirt 2 is 11. And then with something else that's dry as well. We can put savanna there as well, since you mentioned that before. We'll see the result of this in a moment. Where's savanna? I am blind. There it is. 41. Savannah. Savannah. Good enough. No, not good enough. Then we need the hill. The hill is not going to be grass. Maybe we take the desert hill. Gravel, desert gravel. Let's take that. I think that'll work here. Although maybe it should be... let's try that. Let's see what it looks like. And then player land. We don't want grass jungle. We want things like dirt 2 is good for this area. Savanna is good for this area. Dirt 1 is good for this area. Stuff like that. Grass 1 we don't want. How about, what other dirt terrains do we have on offer that we haven't used yet? Dirt snow? Nope. I guess we could put in some dirt 3, wherever that is. Lurking around. There we go. 3 is dirt 3. Dirt 3. We will see this all come together in a second. Mud. Neutral layer. Let's grab some more of this stuff. Don't want jungle grass all over the place. Let's grab more of these. And for the swamp, we could do something like that, maybe. Let's try that. See if that looks Mediterranean. So, let us... Where's my mouse? Go. See if it worked. See what I managed to conjure up here. Alright, so we've got big swaths of Mediterranean forest. We have some green areas. We have some hills. We have some pine trees, we have some bush forests. Does this look Mediterranean? Maybe we need more bushes instead of the oaks. Or instead of the palms. I think we keep the palms. And replace this with oak bush forest. Or just straight up with bush forest. Let's start with oak bush forest. See if that looks better. Large white cliffs, you say? The game doesn't feature large white cliffs. It could use snow. That's kind of... Can I put this lush terrain somewhere else? This lush green grass, can we use that in a different location, or can we use a different terrain for that? I think the problem is I don't have that many grass terrains on offer. We could use the shitty reserved grass. We're not doing that though. I could use one of the leaves terrains. I could use leaves or underbrush. I could use leaves. I wonder if that would make sense. Probably not, but let's try it. Leaves are 5 instead of lush grass. Bright light water, you say? True, you are working on a Greek map. I feel like a mix, some sort of mixture like this. Has some dry areas, has some green areas. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep the minimap color such that either the hills or the rest of the area is green and the other area is brown. That limits it a bit. But that dirt 2, dirt 3, drag. I could ditch dirt 1. I have dirt 2 is mixed in there. This is basically like super dry patches. Grass 3, I think I have both of those. Grass 3. The player land being the lushest. Yeah, that's fine. The hills being the driest. Dirt 2. Where am I putting dirt 3? Take another look at that. Placing dirt 3 on the player lands. I could potentially place that in some other places too. Like instead of Savannah there. And I could do a bit of swapping around of things here. Dirt 3 is a good call. To replace Savannah in a lot of places with that. Let's try that. And that will overall be a bit greener, but also brighter. We definitely need to add animals, stragglers, and so on to fill out some of these empty areas. I think I can live with this for now. So, Savannah. I think what I want to do for Savannah is essentially make it the desert, but not as deserty. So, start with the desert. And what would I do differently for Savannah is to not have gravel and to have more slightly greener thingies, basically. Oh, actually, one more thing that we could do for Mediterranean. You did mention that it should be bright. I could change the beach back to the bright beach rather than the wet beach. Once it generates very slowly. Oh, is it gonna crash? It's gonna crash, isn't it? While that crashes, we can fix what we want to do here. There we go. Just because I didn't define something properly, the game decides to crash on. That is my fault, though. We could do the beachy white sandbanks for Mediterranean as well. I'm willing to do that. And we can get desert set up while the game slowly boots. So if we made a new one called Savannah map. There we have something like that. And let's skip the intro. Oh, where's my mouse? Oh, that game's over there. Tabbing. That was being silly. Giant. 8 players. Let's go. Not this map. This map. Currently it's not... Oh, I didn't save changes. Okay. Now it should generate the desert map. I'm crashing again. Alright, what did I do that was silly this time? If desert map, else if desert map. There is no Savannah map. God damn it. So it's just not reaching any cases? Alright. You know what? We're just gonna put temperate map as the else case. That should catch these cases when I make a mistake and then the game won't crash. Now let's do that. That's 2 crashes in a row is and they're both my fault. So I think the player land terrain is going to be Savannah. We can probably steal that somewhere. Yeah. Don't this one open? Yeah, we don't want gravel there. We want Savannah there. And the hills can be dirt, the shallows. The low terrain can't be Savannah because we already have Savannah, but we can find another different suitable dirt terrain. Alright, let's not crash it now. Third time's the charm. Try save changes. There we go. It didn't crash. That's a good start. There's a player. Players are doing exceedingly silly things. Why is that? I don't know. Do I have... Oh, it's the connections are doing silly things because I probably have Savannah twice. We can't have it there if we're going to have it up there, so let's just put something like Dirt 2 there, probably. Will we even... do Dirt 2 here? Savannah there. And then we take Dirt 3. Not really around the hills, no. Sand desert. We do that there. Maybe. And then we do sand desert. That was 14. And oh no, we don't do sand desert. We do dirt 1, which is terrain number 6. Which means ah, I see what I did here. Okay. So we have dirt 3, 2, 1, Savannah, wet beach, so hill terrain is going to be even drier. It's going to be gravel desert. Or some sort of terrain that's more deserty on the map. We could do cracked. Not going to do quicksand. We could do one of the beach terrains. Gravel default. Well, let's do desert gravel 102. Hill terrain 102, desert gravel. Desert gravel. Okay. Dirt, desert gravel. Shallows are fine. I mean, we could do Azure shallows. Let's try this. So we have some green areas. There's still a lot of dirt lying around. We'll have to fix that because that's in layering. The hills are now super gravelly, as they should be. Alright, player land forest. Neutral land forest. I kind of want the acacia forest. Here, what other forests do we have that aren't the typical 3 that we would use here? Palm trees, the palms can go into the shallows. Bamboo, no. The bush forest could go in the savanna. Like if that's 88, isn't it? 88 is Mediterranean forest, alright. 89 is the bush forest. There is also the reed forest. but I'm using reeds in all kinds of other places. Let's do 89 here and do at 89. Bush forest. And then we're not gonna have dragon trees because those are really more of a deserty thing. Baobab, acacia. Swamp upgrade is fine. There's something down here that we can do too, this thing. Oh, where did I do it? Let's put in an else if. Else if. Savannah map. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Bush be fine, that's fine. Let's see if it looks savanna-y. So we've got some bushes. We have some acacias, we have some baobabs. We have some lush oasis areas. Does that seem like a savanna? I still need to fix the things that are being masked around here. Yeah, that needs some work. Map base layer 1. Okay. Hilltop layer, desert gravel we already have. So we need to do gravel and wet gravel. So gravel there. Then wet gravel. Hey! I will have fun. Wet sand, wet gravel is 81. Okay. Let's try that. And then map base layer, we're putting dirt there. Maybe we could put something like dry grass. Dry grass could look good. Where do we have dry grass? Instead of dirt, get to dry grass and honestly layer more savanna. Those are the terrains we kind of want here a lot of. We don't want quicksand. And we do have way too much quicksand and sand desert here, so let's start by layering savanna, by layering dry grass, by layering grass 3, oh, there's no grass 3 there. Alright, where's the grass 3? Like that. Even layer dirt 1 if we're feeling adventurous. No, a dirt 3, I mean. And then we can layer a bit of sand too. Quicksand, so no, let's do that again. Let's try that. Take a look. That's better mix of terrains, I'd say. Sort of the right tone of green. Let's take a look at the hills. Hills are multicolored, good stuff. Yeah, I think that's all right. Do I go make a gravel desert as well? Maybe. Maybe not. I have a gravel desert in Hyperrandom. Do we really have enough gravel terrains for that? I'd have to use... I think we should make a gravel desert. We should make a gravel desert. The final thing. Define gravel desert. Else if I upgrade unit? No. Gravel desert map. Then we put in, we made a % chance 0. Define Savannah map. % chance 0. Define gravel desert map. So let's get our sandy desert again. And the difference with the gravel desert is that we are going to have more gravel. Although to be fair, my desert is actually pretty gravelly already. My desert is pretty gravelly with the player lands already. I could make it mega gravelly. Maybe I'll leave it. Maybe we'll leave out the gravel desert. It's not something that players really like, I think. We'll leave out the gravel desert after all. So let's take a look at what we have in summary. We did some seasons, buried the hills a bit more. We can think about forest mixing later. We currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 different things. So if we do 11, we don't, all right, we don't have 9 different things. 8. 100 divided by 8 is like 12.5. So if we do 12% for everything. Although, are we overrepresenting something? Like, temperate should be the default. Let's make all of these a bit less likely. Autumn, Asian, 10%. Do something like that. Yeah. So what is this? This is our tropical map, is it? It is. So, okay, so animals. I think what we're gonna do is we'll start by working with the temperate map, and then we'll vary it for the other maps as necessary. Is that how we do this? I think that's how we're going to do this. So something's weird with my comment folding. Let's try it again. Temperate. Perfect. Okay. We have a second object. We have swamp filler trees. All that stuff is fine as is. Create town center. Sure. So let's copy just some standard code. Town center. We don't need that. Some villager code. Let's put that in. Sure. So we have villagers, scout, put in the regicide stuff. We could also, we're gonna have to also, I'll put a note at the top. Add nomad support. I want that definitely. Okay, so we've got some villagers, got a scout. Good stuff. Then we're going to want some regicide code. Six to 8, 9 to 11. Sure. Just to define regicide. Nope. To test that. Then we need to get our straggler trees set up and stuff like that. Actually, straggler trees should be the last thing we do. All the typical. So, okay, I guess the big question now is, am I going to give people standard starting resources or just say, nope? Let's give them berries. With some variation. So it's going to be berry type. It's going to be R&D 4 to 8. Avoid forest zone is not necessary. Actor areas are not necessary. Distance group placement. Sure. And are we going to place them on a specific terrain? We could do terrain to place on land, player land terrain. Player land terrain. Actor areas are not always necessary. And then we start out with saying, okay, well, we said we were always going to do temperate, right? So on temperate, these would be a forage, but we can already set up berry type. How am I going to set this up? We'll define them down here for now. We're going to go here and say define berry type. And then we're going to go to our objects. And it's going to be 59. And we are not seeing berries because I defined it and I didn't do const. Alright, go. Oh, save like this. There we go. Just start berries, start players with some. Actually, are we just gonna be extra unfair? Let's be extra unfair. Group variance. I haven't used this in a long time. What do I need to do? I just say 1 and it'll vary by plus minus 1? This is objects generation. Group variance amount. Yeah. We're gonna do group variance. Let's be maximally unfair here. People can be happy that they're getting berries at all. Nine to 20. And then the question is, do we also have berries on other terrains? Like, do we put some berries on the low map terrain? Yes, this is a new map. Maybe we do that. Go like that when we say I'm gonna replace that with player. There we go. And then we're gonna do neutral low berries. Neutral low berries. These can vary even more. I'm not going to place them for every player. We don't need circular placement. They're going to be placed on low map-based terrain. And then how many of these do we want to have? I guess we could just scale them by player count. No. No. Where's my scaling table? So a giant map should probably have if we said number of groups 2, number of groups 2, and then we said set scaling to map size. Then we would end up with, on a giant, we'd end up with like 11 or 12 groups, something like that. I think that can work. And then we put in some sort of like temp min distance group placement of 18 or 16, 16, 15. And then neutral low berries also needs to be defined. Then do we allow berries on hills at all? We could, and we could just make it that they turn into gold or something, depending on what the hill is like. Ooh, that's a good thought. That's an interesting thought. We'll hold that thought for now. That these things are not always berries. Const neutral low berries are gonna be whatever the fruit bush is. Fruit. DLC orange bush 1059. Let's do that for now. Which means that we should see some extra bushes around here. Do I just straight up not place them per player? That would be the other option. To do this really generically. Maybe we'll do that. Since I'm going to throw balance out the window anyway. What if I just do... I'm going to call that player land resource 1. And it's going to be berries in this case. And then we're just going to, I think... We're going to keep the min distance to players. That's important. We don't want it to be excessively close. We're going to do something like that. Let's see, so this could be berries. It's going to be typically berries. Ooh. But if we sometimes make it not berries, we can just make it something else. So tech grouping, least 30 players, needs to stay at least 9 tiles away. And then we want a temp min distance of placement. Yeah, so if we did something like that, and then if we just did this 2 more times. I don't know. I might be going overboard here. 4 to 8 with a variance of 2. If this is supposed to be the big group of things that you get, let's do 6 to 10, variance of 1. We did something like that, and then we have a player land resource 2, and that one's going to be 4 to 8. And then we have a player land resource 3. And that one's going to be 3 to 7. And then we go to our thing, and on temperate, resource 2 will be gold, and resource 3 will be stone. Just to do the typical. So 69 and 102. No, 66 and 102. Okay, that is overboard. Do I have a set place for every player in there still? That must be the issue. I do have a set place for every player in there. Okay. In that case... No. Okay, no scaling to map size for this stuff. And we have 2 groups. Are we going to place them for every player? We sort of should to have a somewhat decent distribution. There is no stone. What did I do wrong? I wrote 13. Okay. Given that it's free-for-alls, the overall resource distribution does need to be generous. And we have these areas that are essentially neutral areas. They need resources too. And the swamp needs berries or fruit as well. But we did player lands, so next thing would be to do like the neutral low areas and the neutral areas. Stuff like that. How are the lands created? Yes, this is... You could actually look at some of the earlier VODs, but I'll go over it. Basically, what are we gonna do? I put in a break here just to show how it's created. That is the overall design philosophy behind this map, is I want to have dynamically created lands, but basically, or to have it look organic, right? So I'm creating a couple player lands, and I think temperate might not be the best. Whatever, we'll look at it on temperate. Basically, the players are all positioned at random somewhere on the map, and then I create some neutral lands to help fill the rest of the area, and then I create a couple lakes, and then I create another lake that's called an ocean. And each of these things can basically have a random position. That's kind of what we're looking at in just the land generation. You can't really see the contrasts well, you can sort of see the elevation differences. But you have these things are player lands, the ones that are green, and then the lower areas are the neutral areas. We have our lakes. So yeah, what I'm doing specifically, I'm saying the player lands can just be anywhere. I'm specifically breaking random placement by using direct placement but not saying where it should be directly. I am using this thing called min placement distance. And this min placement distance, if you look it up, what it does is, I will read it out loud once I get to it. Number of tiles to stay away from the origins of previously created lands when randomly selecting an origin for this land. It's not used frequently because, well, originally people didn't realize it was a thing, and also it gives you basically no control over where the lands are. And if the land can't find a good spot, then it defaults to the middle. While I'm doing that, the players stay apart from each other. If it's ludicrous, then I'm creating a second set of player lands. Then for the neutral things, these just can be anywhere. And for the lakes, in order to avoid this thing where lands stay out of the corners, I'm saying, okay, they have to be in some half of the map only to help get a good distribution of lakes and make sure that lakes are allowed in the corners after all. Then if we add an elevation, down we get here. Yeah, min placement distance is the key to doing this. The elevation just makes some bigger hills. That's not that interesting. And then with terrain generation, we'll just skip through the entirety. A lot of it's cosmetic. Actually, we won't skip through the entirety. Like, I create a future swamp where I replace... Get a map where we have more swamps than that. I replace some of the shallow areas with swamp terrain. We'll just use the same seed. Some areas that are at elevation 0 become swamp terrain. Then I color the hills so they look different. Then you can actually start to see sort of the structure of the map a bit. Then we start creating forests and mixing water and so on. That doesn't matter. There we go. And then one is just messing around with the land positioning to get a lot of randomness. And then the other thing that I've done is done a fair bit of connection magic. I spent a couple hours fine-tuning this. We don't need, that's just to practice. We don't need that in there. But basically it does a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not going to go into in detail, but it tries to connect the bodies of water and create rivers by doing that. And I had to do a lot of fine-tuning to keep water off the hills, make it not be too wide, make the terrains look realistic. But it tries to link up the different lakes. It's not allowed to run through the player lands, so it generally runs along in between lands, and it's not allowed to run over the hills either. That's how you get sort of a river of sorts. But that's basically that's the structure of the map. And then I put in, various R&D things just to randomize the sizes a bit more. Well, then we can activate our objects generation again. Then you can see where the player lands actually are, and they're not in a perfect circle. They're just, each one is however many tiles I said they need to be from the other ones, 43 tiles. Yeah, I say the min placement distance is 43, unless there are too many players for the map size. In that case, it's only 12 because I don't want them all to bug out and all be in the middle on top of each other. Too many players, I just check in each size for each player count for each map size to see if there are too many or not. Do we really want to be giving 2 forage bushes? Maybe? I don't know. We'll leave it in for now. So then we have more... like the neutral low area we can do there. And that's gonna have... will that also have 3 resources? Or are we just gonna have 2 resources? Maybe we only have 2 resources. Neutral low source 1. And then we're getting 2 groups. Something 5 to 9, and then we can have another thing here, which is going to be 3 to 7, below resource 2. And we have to make that neutral low resource 1. Well, actually, neutral low is not even the right. Low map base is what it should be called to correspond exactly to the terrain names. What we want, gold is 66 and fruit bush we already have. Let's see. Forage. Gold. Stone. Fruit. Gold. Two, there we go. And then we're gonna call them actually that these are basically the lowlands. We're gonna replace that with neutral a low map base. Resource 1. 2 occurrences replaced. All right. Occurrences replaced. So if we generate that now, we should get some neutral gold as well. This low area doesn't exist everywhere. We have a lot of like high neutral areas. This is a neutral lowland. Map-based terrain. I want to do some testing to really see what all these locations are. So let's just do create object gold number of groups 99999 terrain to place on map base terrain. Okay, so map-based terrain is fairly frequent and would be good for placing neutral res in general. The ring around everything. Good for neutral res. Then we have, what other terrains do we have? We have player land terrain. I think I know where that is already, but we're going to do that anyway. To see where player land terrain is located. Player land terrain is located where all the players are. That's good for giving some sort of starting res. That should actually, I should make that somewhat fair at least. Player land for starting res. Map base terrain. Let's do a couple more of those so that we can get a really good idea. Yeah, map base terrain is quite present. It rings all the hills. Not guaranteed to ring the hills, but it's pretty present. I could honestly just place a lot of stuff on that. Just good for neutral res or for far starting res. Yeah. Hill terrain. Terrain is self-explanatory. The other option I have is I could just say, you know, I'm going to place things just only based on terrain and say, all right, on gravel I place rocks, on dirt I place gold, on grass I place berries, and then if the map doesn't have any of that resource, but I think I won't do that. That's perhaps not the most sensible way to encode things. All right, what other terrains? There were a couple more terrains that were less self-explanatory that I was worried about. Low map base terrain. Then we also need to place resources on the swamp. Swamp res. Low map base terrain. This is the one that's the least consistent, I think. Low map base terrain because a lot of it turns into swamp. It's bits and pieces in various places. It's the least consistent terrain, I'd say. You can end up with situations where it's just not close to one of the players. Right, okay. Let's do a couple more of those. Alright. Yeah, I don't know about placing stuff on that. That's very inconsistent in where it's positioned. So I think... Okay, we don't need the mega gold right now. So player land resource... Are those ever not going to be starting resources? I can think about that later. Low map resource is fine. Those are fairly rare. Let's do hill resources first. Hill resource 1. Hill resource 2. And do we need R&D and group variants? No, I think we just need group variants. Number of objects 5. Or 6 with a variance of 3. And then we can have something like 5 with a variance of 2. And then we can make hill resource 1 and 2 golden stone. Hill resource 2. Hill resource 2 is going to be that, and hill resource 1 will be stone. On almost all of the maps, I think. Maybe all of them. Okay, these low areas, they need to have a lower density of stuff in them. Let's just not do this, and we'll just do number of objects. 3 with a variance of 2. And the other resource as well. 3 with a variance of 2. Yeah, something like that. Why is there stone down there? There's also nothing being placed on the hills for some reason. Probably because I didn't spell hill correctly. Alright. And I didn't spell resource correctly either. Alright, hill resource 1 and 2. Let's try that again. I want to see some golden stone on the hills. I'm not seeing golden stone on the hills. Hill terrain. I could also make some of them be only on the hilltops. Hill terrain. Yeah. That was the issue. Okay, I'd like to see a bit more than that. Honestly, how far am I saying 15 tiles apart? Yeah, something like that is pretty good. Getting a decent amount of resources on the hill. That's a good start. Yeah, that's a good start. And let's just give the players something that's a bit more standard. One group of berries that are 6 to 10. Two groups of gold. 2 groups of stone. Guess we can leave that for now, something like that. Then we also need to do resources in the neutral area. Which is where I said I could put extra player resources too. So maybe what I'm going to do is have all of these, all the player things only do one group. Then we scatter the rest of the map resources generously. Generously in the neutral terrain area. Oh, wow. We have a large raiding party, it seems. Welcome, everyone. I'm working on a map. It is nearing completion. Just putting down some resources right now. I teased this one on Reddit a while ago. It's not going to be remotely balanced. That is fine. See, the thing now is because I've been raided with so many people, I feel like I probably have to, keep providing some content for a while. I can't just say, all right, you know what, it's late, time for bed. Now I have to playtest this with the stream. Actually, I could. I'm not on the beta build anymore because I want to play with friends. I re-downloaded the main game. So this is the map script. It is in fact not a JSON file, but a .rms file, as you can see here. And this is what's used to generate any sort of map that's not a scenario. So I can generate whatever. So map scripting basically involves writing a text file that then the game uses to generate a map at random each time. And if this is something that you're interested in, we have a nice community and a Discord, and I have a very long Google Doc that explains how map scripting works. So Arabia takes a very long time to generate on Giant. I'm gonna blame Crazini for that. Put in too many actor areas. But let's keep working. I think we wanted to place some neutral resources in sort of the area that has the pine trees here. So what are we going to use as a base for that? Hill resource, low map. We can do something like this as an example for that. You can absolutely have too many actor areas. That is why Arabia generates slowly now. Much more slowly than this map generates on Giant, I'll have you know. Alright, let's just do gold, stone. Yeah, we want a bit of this just sprinkled in the neutral areas. Do we want berries sprinkled there as well? We do, but like only small groups. Forage. Number of groups, 5 groups. Gold. 1 with a variance of 2. That can be up to 3 gold. We want it to be placed on map base terrain, what I called it. Yep. By the way, if you're still here after the raid or from the raid, feel free to ask any questions. I will do my best to answer. So if we did something like this, we'd end up with some very small golden stone piles sort of in the neutral areas, like this area right here. If we take the same seed and check, we did not end up with anything here. Because I did something silly. Try again. Try again. Now we have some neutral little piles. That's what I wanted. Little piles. We need more little piles, maybe, or we spread them out further. 8 groups. Free-for-all maps need to have lots of resources. All right. Yeah, then we should also put some resources in the swamp too, I'd say. These swampy areas. And that should be probably no golden stone. Realistically, that shouldn't actually mean a swamp. But a swamp could have berry bushes. So we can have some generous berry bushes in the basically it's mangrove. Let's see. Or swamp terrain. Can I do swamp terrain? Swamp terrain? I can do swamp terrain. Okay. Number of groups 8. We want like 5. Can vary quite a bit. Sure, something like that. There we go. Now we have some forage bushes in our swamp, and they blend in very nicely with the bushes that I have in the swamp anyway. So we're just sort of haphazardly placing resources at the moment. We're going to want fish. And I might just steal some fish code from an existing map. If I take a look at Random River, let's see what I did for fish here. Stragglers. Or we can do stragglers. Let's do fish. Fish, 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 fish. Shore fish. So I just did fish and salmon. How long does it take me to finish a map? That depends a lot. Like this one is somewhat complicated, and also I'm giving it a lot of love. So this one will end up taking a lot of time, or like hyper random. You know, it's a continuous project that I work on. But if I'm just making a map where I already have a clear vision of what it needs to be, then that would be done in the space of a couple hours or less. I could make a forest nothing map in 5 minutes, but that's forest nothing for you. About the easiest map you can make. So I'm actually not placing anything in the editor. The editor is just... I just have it open so that I can test what the script will do. And I don't, unfortunately, well, not necessarily unfortunately, but coordinates, you can only do, placing things on specific coordinates is not quite as easy as you might think. It is possible, but I'm more placing things somewhere and giving some restrictions on where they should go. Is it hard? No, it's easy. I do it all the time. No, it's easy to get into, but there are some very complicated things if you get really deep in it. You can do quite a lot with it if you go far into it. Let's just see if this is enough to give us the shorefish. Yeah, we're getting some shorefish. Now, let's not worry about the salmon just yet. Comment there. Let's allow the shorefish to be closer to each other, but not have an unlimited number. Instead, we'll do something where we scale it to map size. So if we said, 60 shorefish scaled to map size, and they need to be 6 tiles from each other. This, compared to AoE 4, where you can't test it in game, I would say this is easier to make. It's easier to make map scripts here, but it's not much easier. I feel like I'm still placing an excess of shorefish. Let's allow them to be even closer and place only 30. Yeah, easy to pick up, hard to master, exactly. Like salmon. I personally like eating salmon. I still feel like we're placing an excess of how many fish fit onto the map. We have to remember 30, if we scale that to map size, that's 30 times like 5.8. That's probably more than there's room for, is the real answer. 174. Try 15. It is. It is. I'm sort of painting things on, especially now that we kind of have like the layout of the map. We're just putting, at this point, we're just putting objects on it. We're putting resources on it. We're going to put straggler trees on, putting goldstone. We still need to put animals on. 2 minimum tiles of golden stone. Well, the players around them start with gold stone. I won't I don't want to make it completely fair, but there'll be something at least. I don't know, I've never watched an ASMR stream in a hot tub. Or I've never watched an ASMR hot tub stream. Usually those are without hot tubs, I think. Alright. I still feel like I'm placing an excess. Oh, maybe not. 10. Scale these shorefish down so we're not placing such a huge number of them. But I don't want it to feel like, okay, you just walk 6 tiles and you're guaranteed to find the next piece of shorefish. That's what I want to avoid. Man. 5. We should get there at some point. On this map, yes. You'll notice it's different every time I hit generate. So yes, the layout is different every time. Like if I drew something in the editor, that would be making what's called a scenario map. Then you save as, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm just using it to generate. The actual file that I'm saving is the text file over here. And that's how all of the maps that you typically play in multiplayer, unless you're playing something like CBA, that would be like, CBA would be something where someone went and they drew it, and then they went to objects and they placed a castle. But if you're playing something like Arabia or something like Black Forest, that's something that is a text file. And 5 is too few fish. We're gonna say 10. Then salmon, sure. We'll allow salmon. We're also gonna place 10 salmon. Also gonna say they need to be 5 apart. We're gonna say they need to be 4 tiles from the shore, or we're not gonna say that. We're gonna say they need to be salmon can be close to shore. Salmon goes into creeks and stuff like that. Okay, so the salmon is not very frequent with only 10 of them. Are we not scaling them to map size? Ah. Now we're gonna have a whole bunch of salmon. Also, I'd like in the big oceans, I'd like to have some other types of fish, like a marlin. The other thing I'd want to consider is, are we going to have some sort of fish in the swamp? Like, do we place some shorefish in the swamp? Maybe. We might do that. We might do that in a moment. We'll think about how to do that, but first I want to place... I'm going to place something called Marlin. Marlin 1. Great fish Marlin. There we go, that's the one I want. Don't need so many of them. And they weren't going to be terrain to place on DLC Water 5, I believe. Water 4, I think, is the deep water. I want to place them only on the deepest of waters. This is the same map from the last couple times I was streaming. Except we've now moved over to adding resources. Fish. Yes, villagers collecting fish is a very fast food source. But remember, this isn't going to be fair anyway. You're going to have players who are not close to water. You're going to have players who have a huge lake next to them. You're going to have players who are in the middle of the map. Players who are at the edge of the map. Okay, so like the classic AOC maps didn't have perfectly spread out fish like you have in all the modern maps. If we go coastal, you'll see that they have nicely spread out fish. Like a perfect spread. I intentionally don't want that this time around. Well, if you take one of the old ES maps that they didn't bother upgrading, like ES Dingoes maybe, they still have the classic fish distribution. Or just sort of a bit here, a bit there, fish are allowed to be on top of each other, who cares? Good enough. Alright, let's make these a bit rarer, I'd say. 2, and we want them to be 10 tiles apart. We do need to remake those. Just give them a fresh coat of paint. Some of them have been, like Pilgrims, I believe, is updated, but a lot of them aren't. We can take a quick look at that, why not? Since we're here, ES Canals, I don't think that one's been updated. Yeah, that looks very classic. At the very least, we could, you know, add a bit of terrain mixing, put in some new trees, new seasons. Canals, capricious. I think... Have any of them been updated? I'm pretty sure Pilgrims has been. Dingoes we looked at. Graveyards is still old too. They're more... Like the original maps feel more random, which is what I'm going for. What they of course don't have is all the nice modern things where you can mix different terrains, layer them, mask them on top of each other to make smooth transitions and so on. They didn't upgrade Metropolis either. You can even see the hill bias to the south of the map, rearing its ugly head here. Right, moats. Paradise Island, that one's definitely still the old style, yeah. Then again, I don't know how often these get played. They could still use with a fresh coat of paint. I thought Pilgrims... Now, I might get proven wrong here in a moment if we look at this. Does Pilgrims still look like the classic map? It does. It does. They didn't... I don't think they upgraded any of the ES maps. It's not true, though. They did change the code slightly for some of these maps. Because... maybe let me check something. ES at Pilgrims. I thought they'd updated this one. I don't want depot. I want it in turn to map scripts, open file location, date modified. ES. I have them all listed as last changed in 2020. Yeah, okay, it looks like they haven't really updated them after all. Never mind. ES the unknown. They upgrade Team Glaciers. There we go. Well, players didn't play for a lot of money on these maps. They used to play on, you know, the AOC Arabia, which also is a lot less balanced than the current Arabia. This is true. But I mean, all of these ES maps were only ever meant as, you know, fun gimmicks. Look how many boars. Look how many deer. Look how many deer. Seasons. Of course, we have to remember that a lot back then there were just, you know, only a third as many terrains to work with, and a lot of the new things that we are able to do simply weren't possible back then. Sherwood Forest. And I haven't looked at or touched any of these maps. Played them in You could only have 99 lands, you could only have 99 objects, you could only have 99 create terrain statements, you could only have 99 things in any section. Which for objects is actually the most significant thing. So a lot of things that can be done now just simply weren't possible. And you couldn't place players in a perfect circle. So anything that relies on that, you couldn't place players directly. Well, you kind of could, but you couldn't position them. Like direct placement wasn't a thing, right? Grouped by team wasn't a thing either. You could only do random placement. Alright, Team Glaciers. Who wants to play a game on Team Glaciers? This is peak AoE2 map scripting. No fish. Oh my goodness. I made a suggestion to the devs recently to differentiate the ice somehow. Because about something like this, is this sailable? Guess not. But this is a beach. That's a piece of beach. They can sail on beaches. They can't sail on ice, but it looks the same. Alright. And the unknown, which is basically the original randomizer. Well, the original... this one they actually put a lot of work into making. And in some ways it's more random. It's certainly more random than what you get on Mega Random. And it's also a lot less consistent than what you might get on Hyper Random. You know, here's your bajillion relics. Fish are able to survive in pretty cold temperatures, like certain kinds of fish. Yeah, the unknown here. Oh boy, island nomad, but it's more like archipelago nomad. With hills galore. This would actually be another interesting map to remaster. But effectively it went into some future randomizers, like one called Fen Crazy that the AI scripting community uses. He's basically a beefed up version of this map. I've got to say, looking at this is even more random than I've done for Hyper Random. I know you've got yellow player's got his own island. All of these players are connected. Alright, enough of this. We've done enough looking at the ES maps. None of them have been updated, or none of them have been noticeably updated, visually updated. So, I was going to put some fish on the swamps, despite your objections about doing that. So, great object shorefish. How are we going to do this? We're going to place 3 groups. Click object only, set place for every player. Now we're going to do ignore terrain restrictions. And terrain to place on swamp. Terrain. Fish that spawn after the berries are harvested, or just under the dead trees or something. Or I could just do the the goldfish and golden calves and camel stones and stuff like that. Or I could just have respawning fish that respawn every 20 minutes. But you need some sort of intermediate object for that. Let's see if this works. I think it should work. Ooh. Ooh, it's being placed on the shores. It's not being placed on this. I guess I do need to do the second object trick with a placeholder. Okay, time to get myself an on-grid placeholder. Which map can I steal that from? There we go. Create object on grid placeholder 1. Second object for fish. Place for. At this point, we don't really need the terrain restrictions. We don't need the place for every player. We just need this. Yeah, we have just some occasional shorefish in this one. Not super frequent, but enough to make it not totally empty. I think things are filling out nicely. I wonder if we want like some mountain objects. Probably not though. There doesn't seem to be golden stone on that mountain. Yes, that was just unlucky. Straggler trees. We do need straggler trees. Let's... I'm going to place them basically on every... Personal stragglers... I'm gonna break the meta and not give people specific personal straggler trees. We are going to instead... The players have guaranteed forests nearby anyway. You're gonna have to survive without guaranteed straggler trees. We're gonna create stragglers. And later on we'll make them generic, so we'll call them straggler A, but for now we can do actually okay, no, let's start. So on the player lands, players are currently on some sort of like oak bush thing. So we can have like an oak trees and pine trees for the players. Oak tree. Pine tree. 10 10. 10, min distance to players 3. Min distance group placement, min distance group placement, we don't care about that. Do we care about this? Let's not even care about that. And we're about voiding for us, so let's just do... But we will do terrain to place on. Player, land... No, player... Player? Oh goodness, what's this terrain called? It's called player land terrain. It is called player land terrain. So if we did that, then we should end up with some straggler trees around the players. Or, well, near the players, not necessarily around them. On the terrain where players spawn. We did some oak trees. Ah. Oh, this is a bush behind it. Okay, okay. Never mind. All good. Good. So we've got a couple stragglers. Not guaranteed to be close to the players, but there are some. Then we need to place these types of things on all the remaining areas too. So on the map base terrain, I think we're going to place pine trees and oak trees as well. And down here, in these areas, we'll place olive trees and Italian pine and stuff like that, I'd say. Olive trees. Ooh, we don't have any birch trees anywhere, do we? I should add some birch trees somewhere. Olive tree, Italian pine tree, cypress tree are the 3 trees that we have down there. Olive tree, olive tree, cypress tree, cypress tree. Let's do 5, 5, and then we'll do Italian pine tree. Italian pine tree, pine tree. There we go. Low map-based terrain. And I think here we want a third. We want to also put in the birch trees. Just taking a look at my list of potential trees. Actually, I can show you the list. Go. So, dead trees we don't need. Autumn trees we don't need. Of the remaining trees, bushes are an option, but I think we want to have the birch trees. Want to have the birch trees. Get back to this. So there we go. Go birch tree. Everyone likes birch trees. Not. And we'll put them. We'll allow them over here too. Okay, what other terrains do we need to place stragglers on? I had a list of terrains up here. Map-based terrain, player land terrain, hill terrain, and swamp terrain. Do we place trees on the hill? Sure, but only a few. Dead trees we're gonna place on the hill. Dead. DLC. Dead tree. On hill terrain. And we're gonna place actually I'm putting snow up there. Do we want to have some snowy pines way on the top? Maybe we do that. Let's try that. We do snow pine tree. Snow pine tree. And we want it placed on the hill terrain. But we also want it placed only on the top. So we do layer to place on hill med layer, hill top layer. There we go. And what we also want, maybe neutral, some more swamp trees. What other trees could we place in the swamp? Like individual mangroves? Don't know. Let's see how our current trees looked. Look. Am I gonna get some snow pine trees? Oh yes, we got some snow pine trees. Nice. And maybe we keep the dead trees off the top. Or not? Do I care if the dead trees are up on the top? Let's get a couple more so we can check the hills. Actually, dead trees are fine up there. See, some straggler trees really go a long way towards making a map feel less, or areas of a map feel less empty. I feel like the swamp doesn't really need straggler trees. If at all, I should place like a bush. Or just lonely mangroves. Don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think we need a few. We need to place a few trees on the swamp. Just a sprinkling. Something like this. If we go whatever swamp forest upgrade. That's the tree that we want. Based on swamp terrain. Now, of course, we don't have a swamp to check. Let's try again. Yeah, just a few. Maybe they need to be a few more than that. Maybe not, though. There was a lot of swamp in this specific generation. I think these minuscule gold things could even be a bit bigger. We said 2 with a variance of 2. We want to have a minimum of 2. The R&D 2 to 3 with a variance of 1. That could give us ones that are 4. Yeah, fine. Let's do 3 with a variance of 1. Let's try that. Yeah. So that we don't have it so entirely tiny files of res. The mountains should have even more on them. We'll increase the number of groups. Increase the size of the groups. There we go. We actually haven't placed any animals yet. Actually, that's not true. We have placed fish. Fish are animals. I think my vision for placing animals would be like wolves and stuff can be on mountains in general. Boars can be in the sort of flat areas and lowlands, including near players. And sheep can be in the flatlands as well. Things like goats could be on the mountains. Just check what else we have on the way of animals. Llamas would be mountains. Sheep could be flat areas. Cows could be grassy areas. Specifically, turkeys. Same as sheep and cows. Goats will be more towards hills. Water buffalo maybe in the swamp or near the swamp. Geese near water. Pigs near players. Cows can be anywhere. Okay. Deer, mostly just flat areas. Zebras, same as deer. Ostrich, same as zebras. Ibex in the mountains. Goose in the swamp? That could be. Wolves, mountain, or bears actually on the mountains. Lions sort of in the lowlands. Crocodiles in the swamp. We also need to vary the fish by season and so on. But let's... We can start with the easy stuff with boars, for example. In no particular order, we're gonna place the boars. Where am I gonna place them? Maybe before the fish. Maybe we copy some boar code from somewhere. Sheep. Deer. Predator? No. Boar type. Create object boar. Let's do 1 to 3. Don't care about this. They're going to be placed for every player. We can actually do this when we're placing the other player things. So, player land somewhere here. Circular placement. I want people to actually have to go look for them. To 25, 1 to 3 boar, and we'll place it there. And then boar are essentially wild pigs. Would they root around in a swamp? They have hooves though, that's not ideal for walking through a swamp, is it? It's not ideal for walking through a swamp. Right, boars, we don't want any boars on the hills. Where could we want some boars? In the dry area here? Don't have many of those. In the neutral area, we just want a few scattering of boars. On the neutral terrain. Map base terrain. And something like that. Let's actually put them even further apart. And we're not going to place them for every player. Number of groups. 2 set. Scale by map size. We're going to have boar all over the place at this rate though. Are we though? 1, 2, 3. Not seeing them in random neutral places. Base terrain. So if we said 2,000 of them, where are they going to be? The classic trick for debugging stuff. I am not seeing 2,000 boar. What's wrong with this code? Create object boar. Groups, scaling to map size. Ah. Let's try now. Now I should see our 2,000 boar. Okay, so that's where they would be. Good. So I think 15 is good there. We don't want too many groups either. We do want them staying away from players. Does neutral land terrain not exist? Neutral land terrain. Neutral land terrain does exist. I have been dealing with that. Neutral land terrain. I forgot that when I was checking. A break here. Put in our test code again. Create object gold. Debugging 101. Number of groups. Terrain to place on. I feel like I didn't consider this terrain in everything that I was doing. I don't know what this is based on. I have not worked with C++ actually. I can't really say, but you can look at the syntax and try to guess. I'm not sure what it's based on, some sort of C-based thing, I think, but that's not my area of expertise. This is a terrain that I did not consider. Which is also placed inconsistently. Oh my goodness. I also need to consider this terrain. Did I? Huh. Huh. Did I consider this at all? Map-based terrain. Placed. Oranges? No, I want to check the trees. Hilltop layer, hill terrain. Swamp terrain, low map-based terrain, map-based terrain, layer line terrain. I just didn't consider this area. To be fair, it tends to be pretty heavily forested anyway. So, and it's somewhat inconsistent in where it's positioned as well. This does complicate matters. It can be pretty large at times, though. I do need to place stragglers on this. Yeah, this is an area that I had not considered, but I do need to consider. If I just take the same seed, deactivate our debug, and I do this, and what I expect to see is that this area here that I have gold will not have straggler trees or resources. Same for this area, same for the top. So let's take the same seed and check. Assuming that the seed doesn't completely change. No, it has nothing. It has nothing. Same more or less for this area. Okay, that's important. Neutral land terrain. Also inconsistent. But it can basically use the same thing as map-based terrain. Be careful not to completely confuse myself when I'm doing this stuff. In that case, let's put all of these on 5. Am I seeing too many trees? Maybe. Let's, yeah, put a lot of these things on 5. 5, 5. Three, 3, 2. Let's try that, and then we wanted to actually use the... Also, I'm not seeing birch trees. Did anyone else notice that we have not seen birch trees? Did I mess something up with birch? It's called birch tree. That's fine. I wasn't seeing birch trees. Alright, if we're doing this, we don't... At this point, we don't have players, so we don't need this. Don't need this. Simplify the code a bit. Okay, so I made this, I duplicated this here. We want this to be on neutral land terrain. I'd forgotten. Oh my god, I have a lot of different terrains. Also, this means that the resources need to be on that as well. Well, that complicates matters. I want to actually see birch trees. Birch trees. Give me some birch. Those are not birch trees. Those are not birch trees, they're dead trees. Okay, why is the birch tree creating dead trees? Birch tree I've listed as 717. DLC dead tree. Birch tree. It does. I must be messing up something somewhere. Does birch... I'm very confused. Alright, let's not place any of this stuff. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Let's try here. Birch. Is the birch tree object buggy? More likely I messed up something. Okay, maybe my spreadsheet is wrong. I have birch trees listed at 717 in the code. You guys get to see Advanced Genie Editor because we need to fix this issue. So let me go and unhide Advanced Genie Editor, and then I need to actually launch Advanced Genie Editor as well. Advanced Genie. Am I upgrading birch trees? Alright, how am I gonna find this? Tools, builds. Let's see. Seventeen. Tree, birch. Did I? Oh, I know. I probably... Drazini's Arabia probably upgrades birch trees or something silly like that. I'm gonna blame that. I think. I don't know if that's fair, but plausible at least. Which means that we need to reload the scenario editor. Let's get us a 4v4. Okay, we have our birch trees, yay! Great success. That's something to be really careful of. is that when you, and this is somewhat advanced concept, I guess, but when you upgrade some object into another object, a tree into another tree, or trade workshop into something else, that persists until you reload the scenario editor, which is what we had observed here. We don't want 5,000. Let's go 5. Let's see now. Alright, we got a few birch trees. Got a few dead trees. Cool. We also need to place resources in this neutral area, so how are we going to do that? I could... No, I can't. Map-based terrain, I'm placing 4 there. Goldstone forge on map-based terrain. We just copy this. Well, it depends on what you want to edit. So persistent corpses, I believe, is essentially a graphics mod. So what that means is it's changed the decay graphics to like shuffle the frames on the or change the frames on the decay graphics, so most of them are still the full thing, and then at the very end it's nothing. So what you want for that is you want to look up something called SLX Studio. I'll type it in chat. There's a Discord for that too. And that's what you would use to edit graphics. I believe that's what that mod does. We can check that in a moment, but let me just type it in here. This is the mod you want to look for, SLX. Or the tool you want to look for. Yeah. It really depends on, like, if you wanted to edit, if you wanted to change some other mod, you'd need a different thing. Like if you wanted to edit my maps, you just need a text editor like Notepad. But if you want to do graphics, that's or yeah, sprites basically, that's what you would need to. But that's a good tool to use for that. Let me just finish what I'm doing here, then we can actually take a look at that idea. Neutral land terrain. Let's do that. This should fill up this area here nicely. Now there's perhaps too much golden stone in random places. We'll have the number of groups in all of these. Four, 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 four. Let's try that. There's perhaps too many of these. Two, three. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Alright, let's take a quick look at persistent corpses, because I'm probably gonna have to call it a night soon anyway. We might as well do that. Corpse. Visible corpses. That'll do. So if I open the directory for this, resources, comment, DRS, graphics. Yeah, that's what I thought. Basically, it's all the decay graphics. Yeah, so with SLX Studio, you'll be able to do that. And what you'd actually be doing is changing the frames of the decay graphic to basically duplicate probably the first one a whole bunch of times. Probably just duplicate it for the entire length so that it stays there and then just pops out of existence when it's done. Or you could put like the last couple frames, make it vanish very quickly. I think that's what you do. Because one of those mods need an, I don't know if there's an up-to-date one anyway with all the new DLCs and things. So that could be useful if you do that. Or visible corpses and persistent corpses. Was this one last updated? April. Visible corpses. Maybe persistent corpses. Corpses will no longer disappear. Oh, this is a data mod. If you specifically want to edit this one, subscribe to that. This is a data mod. You did use Advanced Genie Editor, which is what we looked at just briefly earlier, and that's located in the game files. I think. We'll see what it has here. Resources, common, articles. That. Oh, that's a data mod. Okay. I don't. That would be a different thing to change. All right. I think I'm tempted to call it a night here. It's been lovely having you all here. If you're interested, check out random app scripting. I might even have a command in here, something like RMSG. Yeah, there we go. If you're interested in learning about map scripting, I can also hide notepads and swim. Gonna call it a night. I could take a nice capture screenshot again of my progress, but we need to. Don't know. Thanks for following. I think. You know what? To finish it off, let's just generate it actually. Generate it in here. We'll have 8 players, normal, giant, teams, plays Huns. See how many comments I put in there, see if it actually works. Theoretically, this will just work out of the box. Alright, we have 3 villagers. That's always good. We don't have any herdables yet. They didn't add animals. Good enough. I can build a mill. And there's a boar. Alright, we're not going to run out of food just yet. And there's water nearby. We currently have no wood at all. Oh, because we're playing as Huns. Right, first, I need to secure my food income. So let's get 6 on food. And then we can get some on wood and get a dock up. So the next villager after that is going to go build me a dock, lumber camp there, say. Actually, I can't build a lumber camp. It's going to go on the straggler tree while we go explore with the scout. Alright, looks like we have some water here as well. Alright. Ooh, some shallows. Can we get across? We can get across. Nice. Got loom. It's always useful. Alright, clear crossing. Can we cross here? Like we can't. Can we cross here? So we can. I think this map will be fun with the nomad start as well, so you can choose where you want to settle. How are we doing here? We are super low on food. A lot of reeds here. It'll be tough to dock. Reeds are so prevalent. On a single fruit bush, better than nothing. Honestly, I'm a fan of maps where you actually need to scout to see what the map looks like rather than just scouting to see what your opponent's doing. I think a lot of modern competitive maps could almost be designed in the scenario editor, so standard. Oh boy, our straggler tree is empty. We can build a lumber camp now. I should have probably collected the boar. So it looks like the AIs are all doing better than me. Okay. Let's check here. Let's see if we can a big circle. I guess straggler trees are pretty important. Maybe I'll be merciful and give the players some more. Still can't afford a dock. I could if I didn't just on building another lumber camp right now, but I will just on building. Okay, my wood supply is going up quickly now. We need to secure alternative food sources. I think I'll dock right there. Or maybe here. We'll dock there. There's a patch of deep fish. You are going to be my docking villager. I'll dock there. Then we're just going to pump all of the remaining villagers on wood. Ooh. The AI sent someone nearby. Then we're just going to send this guy actually to auto scout. I mean, we're still of course missing deer and herdables. And the boar and even some of the and like the layer golden stone, was pretty haphazard the way I set it up. That still needs more work, but in principle we're not looking so bad. The Huns are nice. You just don't have to worry about getting housed. I haven't played Tons in a long time. We're actually going to use the fishing ship. First one to explore. Maybe we'll use the second one to explore as well. It really feels like you're playing a, you know, campaign map or something. Which is the idea that I wanted to go for. All of this is just randomly generated though. Okay, so we've got a lake here. Let's send this guy... Oh, I don't think he can make it up there. See if we can get past the reeds or not. Oh, the AI has built a dock. Did I set them on easiest? Did. Alright. Alright, looks like I can sail past this. Put a few more on that and we're going to send them to take the boar afterwards. Oh, the boar's still there, good. Examine the confines of this border body of water here. Just to see how the map could play out in practice, that's why I'm doing this. Alright. I need more docks if I'm going to be going this heavily on wood. Get a dock there. Get a dock up. Just block whatever this is. Sure, let's block that. Ooh, the AI is scouting with fishing ships as well. Can I follow? Fishing ships can't do a follow command, can't they? Wait, let me past. Okay, it looks like it's the end of the line here. Yeah, we can't get past there. That's good. The reeds do block things there. Once they're chopped, you'll be able to get past, though. Alright, this guy can throw the boar. Oh, this lady. This is extremely haphazard, I'm doing. Guess we don't have enough food. I wanted to explore, though I don't really care about reaching future ages. Building site cancelled. Boy. The scout ran across there. The idea too is that the bodies of water, you know, they're connected by streams, but dominating water won't entirely win you the game. What am I gonna do with these guys? Gals. Just head somewhere over here where there's a bunch of golden stone. Let's do that. Mass migration. Looks like there's a body of water here. So we've got a big lake here. We didn't finish exploring this lake either, actually. Let's just do up some exploration for this fishing ship. It seems to be a small lake here. And purple is docked as well. Okay, so that's like a peninsular lake, right? Elongated lake. Okay, so that's the end of where this fishing ship can go. It's just fish there. Let's get line of sight. Villager speed. And wood. And water might still be strong, of course. 4 fishing ships. Alright, let's get some galleys so we can see things. I want to explore by water. What I should be doing is sending a villager to dock that lake further up there. Maybe I'll do that. My auto scout is very busy, but slow. I'll upgrade my scout. That could be a good idea. Castle Age. Okay. How's my fishing ship doing? It's finding new sites. Ding, ding, ding. Alright, let's see here. Can I sail up this river past reeds? Oh, looks pretty reed choked. Okay. Sailing up that one. Let's check the coast here. And let's check, there was a corner here that my dutiful fishing ship didn't explore yet. Then I think I'm just gonna do Marco Polo and take a whole look at the whole map in a moment. Okay, so we sort of have a... This is a big lake. Maybe this is the ocean. Okay, this seems to be the extent of this. Raymond, Prince of Antioch. Oh no, this guy, Almish didn't make it. Let's do Marco Polo. I didn't have fish. Maybe that's why. So the AIs that were close to water decided to dock. That's good. Green has a dock somewhere too, I don't know where. There. Okay, and this water would only be free once these reeds are removed. Then that would connect over to the swamp. Cool, and there were big mountains in this corner too. Along with big mountains in this corner. And this stream here, red, is just trapped here with little fish for now. This stream just leads nowhere really. Cool. I feel like that's a very nice looking map. Not completely done yet, but I mean, that's pretty solid. We could take a capture H screenshot of that. I'll do that after I call it a stream. So thanks for joining. Thanks for following, everyone. I do this not super regularly, but just whenever I feel like it. And I will be continuing with the map that I was working on here, because I've made this entire map on stream over quite a few sessions now, and it's nearing completion. The next time what we need to do is take a more serious look at placing all the resources to really do that properly rather than just plop a few things down. And then we need to vary it by season. You know, we don't want zebras on a snowy map. We don't want crocodiles necessarily on a frozen map either, so we'll have to see about stuff like that. But that will be something for next time. Thanks for joining. And I'm going to end the stream. Once I figure out how to switch to OBS, there we go.